All right, hello everyone. I'm here with Diomira Rose D'Agostino, who is leading us in our monthly workshop for April, and I am so excited because I met Diomira, I think it was the 2018 Fairy Congress. You came and made a very great impression on us all. So we're so excited that now, with the modern technology, we get to connect from afar. So just by way of introduction, so I just read your book and I highly recommend it for anyone. It's on, especially the Kindle version is only $1. At least I don't know if that's still the case, but that is so worthwhile. It's called Initiation, My Fairy Soul Awakening. Very well written and really gives some important clues that it's like I read a lot and hear other people's journeys, and it's just great to get reinforcement that several people are having similar experiences of working with the grid and releasing the energy, and it just confirms that yes, that this is all real. All of this stuff that we're yeah, that is happening on the planet today. So maybe as a way of introduction, can you just say a little bit about your connection to fairy, which I know
Yeah.
is really deep, but
Yes. So for me, I'm just tuning into what wants to arise for this group. And yeah, it really is anchoring me into the land. And I am almost as we're tuning in now, I'm actually feeling my heart center being connected with the Tor. And I'll speak to that in a moment. And also land around the earth. Like you were just speaking to this grid and this beautiful, this golden thread that seems to connect us all and run through like dragon lines, through sacred sites and through rivers and stone temples and fairy hills and forests. And for me, fairy is in the land. It is not only the land, but it's inseparable from land. It's something that is so much a part of this earth. I feel that that is one of the pieces that makes fairy so palpable, more palpable than some of our more angelic, for example, spirituality, but more palpable because it relates to, in some ways, the Gaian experience. And for me, this connection, you know, in my book, I'll just speak to the way that I speak to it in my book. The hope in me sharing my story was, yes, to share my story, but to really create a doorway for people that they could walk through and possibly see themselves in a reflection that they could then look back over the course of their life and see all the little portal points. And I'm seeing the portal points like points or milestones or trail markers in their life where the other world has been speaking to them, where the other world has been speaking to each of us. And so when I speak about fairy, I'm going to speak about this one initiatory moment that really set the course of my life. And I also want to say that it's that paradox that it wasn't really just that moment. It was so many moments before then and leading up to then and after them and backwards and forwards throughout time where my life has been inseparable from this frequency that I call fairy. And this one time that I'm talking about was a beautiful, deep initiatory experience on a sacred site that some of you may know, which is the Glastonbury Tor in England. And it was a moment, just like some of these initiatory moments. I didn't really know what I was doing there, didn't know how I landed up there, and yet it was also feeling as if I had been arriving there my whole life. And arriving there, I didn't know what waited for me, but some energy had been waiting for me. And when you really feel into this story, this fairy, this otherworld encounter, it's not a haphazard thing. It's something that our souls orchestrate, as I say, within the stars and stones, long before we incarnate into this lifetime. And I feel like that was the case for me. So even though it was this moment, it doesn't make me any more special than you or than anybody else. I say that the job is not given to those of us who are special. The job is given to those of us who say yes, who say yes. And so
Yeah.
that is kind of part of this fairy initiatory experience that I speak about. It was a profound moment that activated me, that blessed my life, and it also opened up a pathway of questions. And those questions brought me deeper into my own spiritual understanding of self and soul and my relationship with the forces of the land. So that's kind of a little bit of my connection with fairy.
Wow. Yeah. Lovely. As I said, so deep and well articulated. And what aspect or what little piece will you be sharing in your workshop next week?
Yeah. So when I refer to fairy, I think I called the part of the workshop, I said fairy remembered. And I think before to speak about that, it's helpful to say, well, what do I mean when I say fairy? And this is like one of those really big conversations that I'm just gonna like do a little soundbite for. And to me, fairy is both a people, and we can talk about the vast, the diverse inhabitants that inhabit the realm, the realm of the inner earth planes. The fairy is a place; it's an energetic fairy, meaning the land of these realms, these inner earth planes. But when I speak to fairy, what I'm speaking of oftentimes is this almost umbrella frequency that is truly the living ancient future memory of the land. And it comprises the vast realms of the inner earth, the diverse inhabitants of these places. It comprises all of that. But I'm really talking about, I'm not excluding and talking about a specific kind of being, although I'm not in this context. I'm talking about this beautiful, almost like a song code that comes from the original memory, the original seed code of the heart of the earth. And this is not a return to the past, but almost like a purification to remember the truth, the essence of the dream of the earth that I imagine that so many of us were called to here on this planet throughout time. We were called to because of that transmission. And the image that I see is like millions and millions of years ago when Gaia was in her heating and cooling phase. I just see her like a jewel in space gleaming, and her jewel is like singing, and she's singing, and as she's singing, the frequencies of her song are going out throughout the universe and saying, this is my dream, this is what I'm dreaming. And there were those of us who said, wow, I want to be part of that dream. And then we fluttered here over time. And it's that frequency, that original essence, even though so many of us have forgotten what that was. That essence is fairy. It's the ancient essence of earth and forest and sky, and the ancient essence that flows through all of us and is a part of all of us, really. So that's what I feel into when I say fairy, and that's what I want everybody to have an experience of for our class that we're going to be having a week from tomorrow, and it's on the full moon. How
Yeah.
perfect is that?
Yeah.
So, and the full moon is, I believe, the full moon in Libra, which
Mhm.
is perfect because Libra is all about relationship, and this is going to be a relational exploration. So what I'm going to be doing is I live on the lands where I live and the place, I have really anchored this dream of not just Faery, but what I call New Avalon. And I am actually, what I'm creating for you all is an experience where it is going to include story and essence medicine and interaction between us all, including the fairy inhabitants that are here. And I'm going to usher you into the fairy gates of New Avalon, and we are going to immerse ourselves in a healing temple that exists on the inner planes and the in the etheric forest. And it's going to be this forest and flower alchemy healing temple where we get to relish in the medicine and enchantment of the essences, and we get to receive the medicine of these beings who are standing forth at this time for you all, for this group in particular, who will meet very specific beings, and they will be standing forth to invite us into their story, to engage us in story, and I will be engaging all of you in story. And so it's a journey into this living story, and it's going to be an experience of what I call embodied mythic reality. So I can speak a little bit more, but I just want to see how that lands and if that's making sense or if you have questions.
Yeah, no, that I'm excited, definitely, because I have experienced your essences and I find them very potent. Like, I feel them through the computer. And so, yes, I'm excited to, yeah, continue on this journey, and get it even more deeply anchored. And I can also sort of sense the fairy beings around me where I live getting excited because I think there's going to be connection there as well. So,
Absolutely.
yes.
That's what I kept getting the words relational
Yep.
exploration.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. All right. Well,
Yeah.
we are super excited. And just to confirm the date, it's Saturday, April 16th, 9 a.m. Pacific time. If you go to fairycongress.com, go to online events and community, and I think it's community membership, and you can find all the details and how to register. So we hope to see you all there. Um,
So looking forward to it.
yes, me too. Lots of excitement through the realms. All right. Thank you.